Hello all, welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to the Young Turks and their regressive liberal propaganda machine. They may have a screw loose over there too, because their latest video is borderline retarded. Wait, that's not PC, sorry. Their latest news report is borderline retarded. It's called, Does Pokemon Go Put Black Players in Danger? Spoiler alert, the answer is without a doubt no. But that's not the conclusion the young jerks come to. Let's check it out.
Omari Akil from Medium wrote an interesting perspective on Pokemon Go and how some portions of the population get to enjoy and play the game in a way that maybe other portions of the population don't.
Okay, Anna, I'm gonna go ahead and stop you there for a few reasons. First of all, for those people living under a rock this last week, Pokemon Go is a new game for smartphones. Basically, people walk around in the real world catching Pokemon they see on their phones. It's pretty fun. Back to Anna. This Armenian princess brings up Omari and his interesting perspective on the game Pokemon Go. Before she even gets into it, here's the thing. Everyone's perspective on that game is interesting and unique. That's inherent to the game and the way it's played. People bring up the game and see the map of their neighborhood. Then they walk around in whichever way they choose. Of course, this is going to be different for everyone. So when Anna says some portions of the population enjoy the game in a way others don't, she's actually right, just not in the way she means it. Anna's trying to lead up to the bullshit thesis of this video. Pokemon Go puts blacks in danger. It doesn't. But at the same time, yes, people do experience the game differently depending on where you are. It really depends on where you live. If you're out in the country, it's going to be way more spread out. You'll have to walk around further to find Pokemon, items, and gym locations. On the other hand, if you're in the city, there's shit everywhere. You can walk around the block and find dozens of different items. That's the real reason everyone's experiences with the game are different. Now let's see how the dumb Turks spin this into new iPhone game puts dark-skinned people in dangers.
So apparently he's concerned about people of color, black individuals specifically, playing Pokemon in a public place and appearing to be suspicious when in reality they're doing something as innocent as playing this game.
Here we go.
He says, I spent less than 20 minutes outside. This is when he was playing his game. 5 of those minutes were spent enjoying the game. 1 of those minutes I spent trying to look as pleasant and non-threatening as possible as I walked past a somewhat visibly disturbed white woman on her way to the bus stop.
Okay, first of all, anecdotal. This is one black man's experience and shouldn't be generalized onto all black men. Secondly, he says the woman who saw him playing Pokemon Go looked somewhat visibly disturbed. That's not even that bad. That's just some lady giving you a dirty look because you're walking about waving your phone around. Sounds perfectly reasonable and pretty harmless. Also, this has nothing to do with race. Anyone who walks around swinging their phone is likely to get dirty looks. It's not because this guy was black. It's because he was playing a game that makes you look funny while you're walking down the street.
I spent the other 14 minutes being distracted from the game by thoughts of the countless black men who have had police called on them because they look suspicious.
So this guy is distracted because people call the cops on black people for looking suspicious? Well, that's probably because black people also happen to commit a shitload of more crime than any other race. Also, you don't have to worry about this if you're not doing anything wrong.
Or wondering what a Second Amendment exercising individual might do if I walked past their window a 3rd or 4th time in search of a Jigglypuff.
Next, this Omari guy is worried about gun owners coming out and shooting him for walking by their window. That's ridiculous. This guy is just paranoid. Unless he's trespassing and in people's yards and shit, there's nothing to worry about here. No one is gonna come out of their house and shoot you for walking down the street while using your smartphone.
So that's a really interesting perspective that I didn't really think of. So these are people who are going out in public places to play the game, right? That's the way it works. And for someone who doesn't know about Pokemon, doesn't think of Pokemon as the first thing, they might see an individual maybe pacing around, looking around, and think, oh my gosh, that person is super suspicious. And remember, you see something, say something. And who knows what that could possibly lead to.
There are so many maybes and hypotheticals in this proposal, it's disgusting. Until this actually happens, until a black man is shot for playing this game, it's not a fucking story. The Turks are just race baiting once again. Why do these guys want to be on the side of black people so bad anyway? It's kind of creepy. I don't know about Chank, but I'm willing to bet Anna's probably into black dudes.
I don't know. It's
So
really
now,
interesting.
This is one guy's experience, so we're not trying to over-extrapolate from this.
I think you are over-extrapolating, Chank. This video is called Does Pokemon Go Put Blacks in Danger? You are making some really wild, outrageous claims here, all coming from a stupid little article where a paranoid guy got a funny look from an old lady. That's all that happened. This is not a news story. This is not a trend. This is just one guy's stupid paranoia story.
But the reason why I found this story interesting is because even I didn't, and I try every day on the show to see something from other people's perspective, right? And we talk about it all the time. And yesterday, John and I covered a Pokemon story, And we were worried about all the different dangers. You might walk on the road, people aren't going to be paying attention. They're going to be driving and looking for Pokemon. And so there's a bunch of, and people get lured into certain places and robbed. That was a story we did yesterday.
Sounds like another riveting Young Turk story, Jenk. You know your news website is going in the shitter if you got to report on a video game this often. I know Pokemon Go is a big hit and it is probably worthy of a few news stories, but what the Young Turks report about it is all wrong. I already tore down this video enough for you to know it's bullshit. Pokemon doesn't endanger black people. Now about the previous story Cenk mentioned, there's been a lot of stories this last week about people getting hurt, robbed, or endangered playing the game. While sometimes it's funny, I'm getting really sick of people trying to blame the game for this shit. It's not Pokemon's fault. People are just dumb. They get hurt and sometimes robbed if they're not careful. You can't blame the game though. It's their own damn fault.
But I didn't think of this. And so when I read this, I was like, oh my God. See, if I walked around aimlessly, which I did the other night, I just wanted to walk around my neighborhood. I walked around, didn't have a care in the world. If you were an African-American guy my age or younger, walking around the same neighborhood, would somebody have called the cops on you?
Sure, there probably are other racists besides Cenk living in his LA neighborhood. Some of them may call the cops if a black kid walks by. But so what? If they aren't doing anything wrong, they have nothing to worry about. This is a non-issue.
If you're playing this Pokemon Go game and you're walking back and forth, as all these guys are, 3 or 4 times in the same area, if you're white, it might not be an issue. And it might be if you're in a poor neighborhood, this, that, there's a lot of different factors.
It might not be an issue if you're white, or it might be, maybe, it could be, possibly. Jesus, this video is all bullshit speculation. Cenk throws maybes around like a frat boy throwing dollars at a strip club. And in this video, Cenk is making it rain, baby.
But for African Americans, it is oftentimes an issue. And now he's thinking, this is a bad idea. I can't play this game because somebody's going to either call the cops on me or decide that they're going to take, they're so worried they're going to take the law into their own hands or protect themselves. I mean, look at what happened to Trayvon. He just walked to the store and walked back, and Zimmerman happened to be looking for people who were suspicious. Sees a young black guy and goes, that's it, he's suspicious. And even though he had an iced tea and Skittles on him, you know the rest. And next thing you know, he's dead.
Oh my god, I can't believe what I'm fucking hearing here. The Young Turks never cease to surprise me. Cenk conveniently skips over the most important and damning details of Trayvon Martin's story. When he says, the next thing you know he's dead, yeah, well the next thing that happened was Trayvon jumped Zimmerman. He had him pinned on the ground and was punching him repeatedly in the face. Here's a pic of Zimmerman's bloody nose. The next thing was Trayvon saw Zimmerman had a gun on him. Then he reached for it. And Zimmerman, being a smart guy, he decided he didn't want to die that day, so he reached for the gun first. This was self-defense, plain and simple. I can't fucking believe that anyone who calls themselves a reporter could skip over all that. Cenk has officially jumped the shark. Even Anna should get shamed for just nodding along to this. The Young Turks are utter garbage. God damn.
We live in such a state of paranoia and fear of people who don't look like us being violent and doing something terrible to us.
We? Speak for yourself, lady. I'm not paranoid. I'm not afraid of other races. You guys clearly are. Every fucking thing on this channel is about fear and race. You're fear mongers. You're propagandists. Stop projecting your fears and racism onto everyone else. I'm not the only one who's fed up with the Young Turks either. Open your eyes, Anna. Your videos are consistently getting way more dislikes than likes. Listen to your audience. We don't want to hear this bullshit anymore.
It's scary when you live in America and being in a public place is actually less safe, right? No, it's not. Public places are not less safe. America is safer now than it ever was. Crime and murders are down across the board. Yes, there were some horrible stories that were blown up by the news this summer. Yes, 2 black men who were reaching for guns were shot. Yes, cops are being targeted now in Dallas and Baton Rouge. That is all truly horrible, but at the same time, the numbers are down. The Young Turks act all high and mighty like they're gonna help fix these problems with race and crime, but their race-baiting videos just adds more fuel to the fire. They're helping cause this hysteria and making things way worse.
Yeah, and if, some people in America, calling the cops is perfectly safe. You feel great when you call the cops, they're going to come and protect you. For some people in America, you call the cops and you feel less safe.
What? Why would anyone feel less safe if they called the cops? And why would they call the cops if it made them feel less safe? This is absurd. I know what Cenk is getting at, but it's just plain wrong. He's implying that if black people call the cops, they might get shot. This is a ridiculous ridiculous extrapolation from the recent stories of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. Those men were armed and resisting arrest. If black people stay away from weapons and follow the directions of police, they have nothing to worry about. Suggesting police could just willy-nilly shoot a person for being black is stupid and disrespectful. I hope a day comes where Cenk needs the police. If I was the cop he called when he got robbed, I'd say, fuck you, dude. You're a fucking racist asshole who goes on YouTube and says cops kill black people for no reason. Go fight your own crime.
And so those are the different perspectives that we want you to think about and look at. And that's why I appreciated this article, because it made me see something from a different perspective. And it's a shame that it's a fun game, so I hear. I mean, I'm not into chasing Jigglypuffs. But if that's what you're into, I don't want to judge.
You sound pretty judgy to me, Cenk.
And I get that it's cool that there's something virtual, but it's in the real world. And so some people talk about white privilege, right?
Some people talk about it? Some people? You talk about it, Cenk. You guys talk shit about white people every fucking day of the week.
And I think, again, it's a phrase that's misinterpreted, because a lot of white people think, well, I'm not privileged, I'm poor, I'm middle class, I'm working hard, I can barely pay my rent. What the hell are you talking about, privileged? But what they're trying to get you to see is, this is a privilege you have no idea exists. I had no idea it exists.
Right.
I could walk around all day long. That's why they call it white privilege.
Well, maybe people have no idea it exists because it doesn't fucking exist. Ever think about that?
And again, I think the biggest takeaway that I want people to have when it comes to our discussions about white privilege is, just because you're white doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong.
Yes.
Right? It's a systemic issue that you might have nothing to do with whatsoever. It's not placing a blame on you. It's just talking about society as a whole and how we view certain groups of people versus other groups of people.
Anna, you're basically a white girl. Come on. And this conversation really took a turn. Now we're talking about white privilege? Why? You're not giving any examples or facts or anything. It's all talk. You started off with a story of one black guy who was paranoid and turned it into Pokemon Go endangers black people. Next, you double down and say white people are privileged. This is utter nonsense. Black people aren't endangered in public, and white people aren't privileged. Stop talking about it.
Yeah, we get that. It's not like you're born white and everybody comes in and goes, congratulations! Here's your set of privileges!
Wow, this has really gone off the rails. He's got a soundboard there like he's a radio DJ. He actually took the time to pick out that sound effect and program it into his little button there. This is a perfect example to show you guys how deliberate the Young Turks are about their narrative of fuck white people. He knew the conversation was going to end on white privilege, so he set up that stupid button for this lame ass joke.
And I hope he goes back to playing Pokemon, I guess, and that he's perfectly safe. So it would be nice if we all had the same freedoms in this country, but we're working towards it.
It would be nice to have the same freedoms in this country, but we're working towards it. What a horrible way to end such a horrible video. Both parts of that ending are not true. First off, everyone in America does have the same freedoms. There's no rights that white people have over blacks. There's no rules which single out Asians. It's all the same. Next, Cenk says they're working to fix this non-problem. Well, the Young Turks aren't helping with anything. Their race-baiting, sensationalist-style videos are just making things worse. They are dividing this country more and more, and we don't need that right now. Right now, we need to unite everyone from every race. We need to look at the facts and deal with things logically. Saying a video game endangered black people isn't logical. Claiming whites have this magical privilege they don't even know is there isn't factual. Cenk and Anna are wrong about everything, and it's getting fucking old. Well, that about wraps it up. Thanks again for watching, everyone. We're getting really close to 3,000 subs. Thank you all very much for your likes, comments, and other support. It means a lot. Until next time, good night, bullshitters. Sleep tight.
Bullshit.